Dreams are funny things. They flee from our heads almost as soon as we wake up. Sometimes we may catch a fragment of a dream as we awaken, or we may remember the entire dream for a moment, only to have it slip away. Then there are those rare dreams that stick with you. In this episode, we'll listen to songs that were inspired by dreams. Not just dreams as in wishes, like I've always dreamed of being an astronaut kind of dreams, but sleeping dreams. Recently, I dreamed an idea for a song. So I wrote that song and included it in this episode. When I had the idea for the song, I knew immediately that dreams would be the subject of this episode. Soon after, my wife and I saw guitarist Stéphane Rembel in concert. He started talking about dreams and how you can never remember how they start and how they end. And I knew then that I'd chosen correctly. Hi, I'm Tim Rose, and this is the Tim Tunes Podcast. In this episode, we'll cover 3 songs that are about dreams or were inspired by dreams. The first song is a rocker that started off as a pretty ballad. The next song is about a lack of dreams. And the last song is a horror mystery folk song inspired by a dream. Back in the fall of '72, I was going through a breakup with my high school girlfriend while at college. And although we were attending the same school, we started to drift apart. I was occupied in the theater department, as theater was my major. I was a sophomore and I was getting really good roles, and I had a lot of rehearsals on top of all the stage and set work I did. It was all included and I got paid for all of it. Without that, I would not have been able to go to school. When I was in high school, I had a very strange dream about me and my girlfriend that I felt was prophetic in a way. I dreamt that I was back at the old high school and I was waiting in the courtyard just outside the multi-purposeless room. My girlfriend was late, and when she finally did arrive, she came with a group of friends. She was carrying a bunch of balloons and carnival stuff, cotton candy, stuffed animals, and the like. She apologized for being late and said that they had been to a carnival. When I asked why she didn't invite me, all she did was hand me a red balloon. When I went to grab the balloon, I missed it and it floated up into the sky. My girlfriend laughed and walked away. I kind of forgot about the dream for a while, and then remembered it after the breakup. Her image from the dream was all I remembered for the longest time, and that's what inspired this song. I wrote this song around the end of high school, about the summer of '72. It started out as a folky ballad. I've been playing the old version of the music in the background while talking. I revived and revised the song in the '80s, turning the song into more of a rocker. I recorded this in my studio in College Park, Maryland around 1984 or so. I can tell by the drum machine. I played or programmed the instruments and did all the voices. Now give a listen to Only a Dream.
I saw you in a dream last night. You were dressed all in burgundy and white, and your golden hair seemed to be everywhere. It was such a beautiful sight. Feel so alone and I feel out of place ever since you went away. I hear your voice and I see your face. I miss you more every day. I saw you with a happy smile. We were together again. cry, but you don't know what to do. It's too bad it was only a dream. It's too bad it was only a dream. It's too bad it was only a dream. It's too bad it was only a dream.
Yikes, there is some nasty hum there at the end. The drum machine was kind of an early drum synth toy from Mattel, I think. That's why it fades out at the end. You just turned it on and went with it. This is another song from my musical Homeless Souls. My wife wrote the lyrics and I wrote and performed the music. In this song, a homeless woman who has moved her family into temporary housing sings about her hopelessness and the futility of her situation. This song was written and recorded in the mid-90s in a small TAC 4-track recorder. I maxed out my recording capabilities and have no live guitar when originally recorded. Here is Dream Your Own Dreams.
I look outside this window, then I look back at you two, sleeping there so carelessly, trusting me to get us through. I used to trust to someone way back once upon a time, and this is where it got me, with no home, without a dime. This wasn't supposed to happen, but it happened anyway. Now I'm feeling all used up, like some old throwaway. I'm tired of doing programs and taking just what's free. You can take but just so much till you give your dignity. Dream your own dreams, babies. I'm all out of dreams to give. My wishes all got washed away. My hopes were all short-lived. I wish that I could give you some kind of guarantee that your lives will be different and you won't end up like me. But all I have to give you is the glass out in the sun. Broken dreams like broken bottles ain't no use to anyone.
A couple of weeks ago, I had a dream about a pub on a road. Inside the tavern, there was a patron staring at a picture. And though I have a vague recollection of the picture, I couldn't see anything on it. So that's it. That's all I can remember from that dream. And from that, I constructed the story song you're about to hear. I'd tell you more, but the song is pretty long and explains things as it goes along. I use the folk song format because it's set in a pub, and I think it's the best form for a long story. I also yoded up some of the phrases to get rhymes to work and to make it sound more folk songy. Written over the past 2 weeks and recorded in my studio earlier this week in February of 22. Please find a nice place to sit down and listen to Within a Dream.
I had a dream not long ago of a pub along the way. And in this pub a painting hung in the corner, dark and gray. The painting in its ornate frame was dusty, caked with grime. And as I looked, I could just make out shapes from another time. I wouldn't stare if I was you, the publican, he said. Best let it go and have a pint, for it gets into your head. He pulled a draft and passed it down and broke my reverie. And I asked him about the painting and whence it came to be. Always been there far as I know, but it always struck me queer. I'd swear that it changes over time, but I can't say how I fear. He turned away to clean a glass and hung it there to dry. Throughout the room I scanned the mood where the patrons brewed nearby. A dozen or so of the local folk sat staring into their beers. No one spoke or broke the spell, though I swear I saw some tears. I found myself an empty chair near the cold and ashen fire, where sat nearby an older gent whose clothes were worn and tired. I sat me down near this old gent as his bitters he quietly nursed. He'd steal a glance at the painting, then he'd mumble out a curse, or maybe a quiet chuckle as a tear rolled down his cheek. One moment he'd flash angry, and the next he'd turn on me. Excuse me, sir, I apologize. I do hate to intrude, but that painting in the corner, if it wouldn't bother you. I can't make out what it's about, and you seem quite enthralled. I'll keep your glass topped off if you'll describe what's on that wall. His eyes were glazed when he gazed from the painting to my face. He rubbed them red and turned his head while the pub his dream replaced. He blinked at me and rolled his eyes, shaken from his sleep. He gasped for breath as he arose from somewhere cold and deep. From his dream within his dream, does dreaming have any meaning? In a dream within his dream, or am I the one who's dreaming? I accept your offer, friend, he says, as the glass he weighs and lifts. I jump up and grab our mugs, as to the publican I drift. Two more, says I, as I reach the bar, all full of myself and cheerful. The publican frowns as he looks me down, and all he says is careful. When I return to my old gent, he looks near half as sallow. When he sucks past near half his glass in a single gulping swallow. What day is it? He calmly asks, and bemused I say it's Tuesday. And what's the year? He asks me clear, and I tell him just to amuse me. In a dream within a dream, who can say if it's day or night? In a dream within a dream, who can say what's wrong or right? He shook his head, and then he said, I've been here for many a year, younger then than you are now, when first I sat down there. I sat through most of my life by now, the things that's passed me by, through births and deaths and love and hate. 'Twas here I found and lost my bride. But that's not why you roused me, that's neither there nor here. So listen as I tell ye what it is I see up there. Look in the upright corner, in that dusty painting frame. You can just make out a road and a hill with a pub along the way. Outside stands a thirsty man, whose thirst he must obey. So he enters in the tavern and orders right away. Then he sees a man a-staring and offers a pint for a little show. See, that's where I look whenever my glass has gotten low. He tilts his head and with a grin drains the rest in a single go. Then wipes his mouth, waves his glass and asks, how about one more? My chair falls over as there I stand and gaze about the room. Now every single glass is raised, every eye on me in the gloom. I tried to give thee warning, the publican he said, you'll feel better in the morning when this dream has left your head. I turned my back upon them as out the door I rushed, but I swear I heard the old man sing so quietly and hushed. In a dream within a dream, who's to say whose dream it is? Who's the dreamer and who's the dreamed? I wish I knew as much.
If you had a hard time following the lyrics, and there are plenty of them, they can be found on my Buzzsprout site. Just follow the link from my Facebook account or join the Tim Tunes Podcast Facebook group. So ends another episode. Thanks for listening. As always, you can subscribe to this podcast or stream or purchase my published music on your favorite source, Spotify, Pandora, Apple, or Amazon. Sleep tight and don't let the bed bugs bite.